From its very birth, dancehall had always been a genre with a spirit of competition. And in every competitive sport, there is always a king. Majority of the younger generation believe that king to be none other than Vybz Kartel. However, some who have been on the earth a bit longer may disagree, and one of these individuals has made his opinion very known on the matter, that person being Beenie Man himself. In the past few days, Beenie Man has been going off on an almost one-sided beef, telling anybody who will listen that he is in fact the king of dancehall, despite all of Vybz Kartel's success. Going so far as to not only post about this multiple times, but to even preview a diss track he made on Vybz Kartel completely unprompted, calling him Humpty Dumpty. Now of course, the Gaza fans did not take too lightly to this, as they felt like Beenie Man was being disrespectful and quite frankly very delusional for absolutely no reason. However, what if they're simply just too young to understand what Beenie Man has actually done for the genre and are simply biased to the artist that they grew up seeing? What if Beenie Man actually has a legitimate argument and has a right to call himself the king of dancehall? Well, the only thing that can answer this question of who the true king is the facts. And so to answer this question, we're going to take a brief overview of the impact and accomplishments of each artist, as well as their relevance, numbers, and influence on the people. And when we put them side by side, we will see who truly comes out on top. Firstly, Beenie Man is one of the pioneering founding fathers of dancehall and was one of the first ever people to be making international hit songs back in the 80s and 90s when Vybz Kartel was still young himself. But of course, it didn't start out this way. Beenie Man comes from the Waterhouse district of Kingston and was introduced to music at a young age, encouraged by his uncle Sidney Knowles, who played drums for Jimmy Cliff. He began toasting, which is essentially a process of talking into a mic over rhythms similar to dub plates, at the age of literally 5 years old, and won the Tasty Talent contest in 1981. Radio DJ Barry G introduced him to local sound system operators, helping to establish his popularity, and in 1981 he recorded his first ever single, Too Fancy, and in 1983 released his debut album, The Invincible Beenie Man, the 10-year-old DJ wonder, produced by Bunny Lee. It was also in that year that he would come across his first hit single, Over the Sea. Keep in mind, he was only 10 years old when this song was doing numbers. However, instead of capitalizing on his newfound success, Beenie would actually surprisingly decide to put his music career on hold to finish school. Now, normally when artists do this, it can be a bit confusing for some people, because why would they put their fame and fortune on hold to continue going to school to try and get some job? But since Beenie was literally just 10 years old, I think it's understandable why he literally had to finish school, like legally. However, even though this was the case, Beenie had no idea just what he was going to come back to when he would return as an adult. In the early 1990s, Beenie Man resumed his music career, and by the time he came back, new dominant figures in dancehall had risen to prominence, like Ninja Man, Admiral Bailey, and of course, Shabba Ranks. As he was getting back into the groove of things, he found his artistic home at Shocking Vibe Studio, recording singles with moderate success, and so his career actually started to regain the majority of its momentum, especially after a performance he did at the Reggae Sunsplash Festival in 1992. However, it was around this point that Beenie began to develop a rivalry against another artist who was also running the scene at the time, Bounty Killer, the same man who, for those of you who don't know, Vybz Kartel credits for making his entire career possible. But more on that later. Beenie Man's international breakthrough would come in 1997 with the hit single, Who Am I?, which quickly went gold. This success led to features in the major media outlets and greatly increased his global recognition. He even appeared as himself in a movie, the 1997 film Dancehall Queen, and in 1998 he headlined Reggae Sunsplash and signed with Virgin Records. He also continued his rise with massive hits like Romy and Girls Dem Sugar, and in 2000 he released the album Art and Life, featuring collaborations with other big artists, and actually earned him a Grammy for Best Reggae Album. He then went on to solidify himself even more in the international scene by doing things like co-producing actor Steven Seagal's album, and also dropping hits like Sim Simma, Dude, and of course, ironically, the song called King of the Dancehall. At this point, Beenie Man had an extremely successful career, and few Jamaican artists could even compare to what he had accomplished and brought to the genre. However, it was around the time that some of these very hits dropped that there was another talented artist on the rise, and he had his eyes set on nothing but the throne. It was around 2003, and Vybz Kartel was a fresh member of the up-and-coming crew known as the Alliance, a group of talented DJs with a vision, led by none other than dancehall legend Bounty Killer, aka Beenie Man's arch nemesis. Kartel had been honing his skills for years, but it was really in 2003 when his career took off with the release of his debut album Up to the Time, and also, most of all, his clash with Ninja Man on stage that broke out into a physical fight and made news headlines. It was after this incident that made basically the whole country know who he was, but he would continue to make a name for himself after dropping back-to-back hit songs and also getting into more clashes, with the most notable clash of this being the infamous Gully Gaza War, which we have discussed on this channel before. As we've previously covered, this clash got so gruesome and violent in real life, with the fans of both artists literally killing each other, that the Jamaican government and Prime Minister had to forcibly intervene and force both artists to come forward publicly and end their beef. And to make matters worse, it didn't even work the first time, so the government had to do this twice. On top of Kartel having such influence over his fans that they were literally willing to battle for him in real life with Mavado supporters, his overall influence on the culture would continue to grow and shock people, with the release of songs like Clocks, Freaky Girl, and of course, the infamous Cake Soap, which literally made an entire population of people, young and old, start bleaching, just because Vybz Kartel said it was cool. By this point in time, Vybz Kartel had more hit songs out than any other dancehall artist, and in 2009, he would simply continue to assert his dominance with legendary songs like Virginity, Go-Go Club, and Street Vibes, songs that are still played in almost every party to this day, over a decade and a half later. And after this, continued to still drop smash hit songs every single year, like Ramping Shop, Go-Go Wine, Summertime, Conjugal Visit, Benz Ponani, Your Love, Thank You Jah, Bicycle Ride, You and Him There, Unstoppable, and so many more that I literally could not name them all in this video. Not to mention the global smash hit song, Fever. Vybz Kartel's career maintained a relevance that was never before seen in the Caribbean, making all of these insane accomplishments from behind bars. And not only this, but also had more anticipation for his release than probably anybody I think I've ever seen come out of prison. The Free World Boss movement literally had the entirety of Jamaica and countless celebrities around the world behind it.
Free up world boss, obviously, all day. Adi me daddy, free up world boss.
So with all of this being said, a musical prodigy who had been taking stages before he even knew his ABCs versus a controversial DJ who affected an entire generation of youth. Who is the true king of dancehall? Well, we're going to split this into 3 categories and see who comes out on top. The first category is artistic ability. The second category is hit songs. And the third category is of course going to be influence. To start this off, the artistic ability of Beenie Man mostly shines in the fact that he can perform. Beenie Man is widely known as one of the best performers in dancehall and takes his talents on the stage around the world, going on tours across America and Europe. Performing well is so important to him that in an interview in 2013, he actually said, "Work hard in the studio and work even harder on stage, because on stage, people remember you, the person, and in the studio, people remember the songs." Vybz Kartel, on the other hand, has a bit more mixed reviews. I don't think I've ever explicitly seen anyone say that they hated Kartel's performances, but based on what I'm hearing, it was never really his strong suit, even back when he was in his prime. And now that he's older and out of practice, I worse wouldn't expect him to be able to do anything crazy. The reviews of Freedom Street were okay, but the people have spoken, and realistically, we have to give this category to Beenie Man. The next category, however, is technical skill. which means things like flows, melodies, storytelling, and of course, lyrics. And I think in this category, we all know who the clear winner is. There is not one universe where Beenie Man could ever hope to step the Kartel in a lyrical clash. He was really playing around with his life dropping that diss track preview, and he's lucky that this was Kartel's response.
Gaza Nation, that's come to my attention that people are saying Vybz Kartel is involved in a clash or some lyrical feud. And let me reassure you, Gaza Nation, nothing could be further from the truth, yeah? A positivity Vybz Kartel are dealing right now. Family, business, money, and God, yeah? No clashing. We have no time for that. Positivity around here. I'm out.
Watching Kartel and Alkaline battle back in the day and dissecting every word of every song with lyrics that were being said at light speed with the most deep encoded references and layers of disrespect was like watching two insanely powerful anime characters fight, and they're moving so fast that the normal eye can barely see them. I mean seriously, some lyrics the average person just would not understand even if they tried. Forgive me to all the fans out there, but I just don't think that Beenie Man is on that level. Just like I wouldn't put Popcorn on that level. If Beenie Man and Massacre were to clash, he would lose. If Beenie Man and Alkaline were to clash, he would lose. And if Beenie Man and Kartel were to clash, especially back in Kartel's prime, well, I think we all know the answer. The next category is hit songs. Now, Beenie Man has had some massive songs over the course of his life. However, with a discography of over 4,000 songs, with a large percentage of those songs becoming hits, there is just no way that this category can be given to anyone other than Vybz Kartel. Maybe Sean Paul is a contender because of the size of his hit songs, but if we're just purely talking about sheer volume and consistency over the years, Kartel is the clear winner and has the most hit songs that Jamaica has ever seen. Not only does Kartel have more hits than Beenie Man, but his hits are also way bigger and more relevant in today's day and age. I can't tell the last time that I've heard a Beenie Man song play in a party unless the selector was explicitly trying to go for the theme of old music. However, almost every time I go out, I can be assured that at least once throughout the night, I'm going to hear either Swear to Jah or Street Vibes, and every male and female I go bust 100 blank in my ear. When I search Beenie Man's name into YouTube and sort by most viewed, there are only about 10 songs over 10 mil. But Kartel, I could literally scroll and scroll and scroll, and I still would not run out of massive songs to reference. And yes, this is because Beenie Man's time was obviously before the internet was a thing. However, that just goes to show that his current day relevance is not that high. Because when I say current day, I'm not just talking about 2025 or 2024. I don't even mean 2020 or 2015. I mean, in the 20 years since 2005 that YouTube has been around, he has had more than enough time to create some current day hits and has been actively posting music to his page all this time, up to literally 2 months ago, and yet still he has not been able to find a single one. And if he does have one, even one, somebody please correct me. I could be wrong, but based on what I'm seeing when I do the research, I really don't see any hit songs from Beenie Man in recent times. Compare this to Kartel, who is literally dropping worse music than he ever has at any point in his career and still pisses out millions of views like it's nothing, and drew more than the entire population of some Caribbean countries to pack them all together into one stadium and have the rest of the country watching on live. But of course, while numbers are important, they aren't everything. What really matters for determining who the king of dancehall is that one specific word: influence. Beenie Man, being one of the first truly successful dancehall artists locally and internationally, played a pivotal role in influencing the structure, sound, and essence of dancehall music. Taking inspirations from those before him, like Yellowman and Bob Marley, he influenced music in a way that cannot be forgotten, as he combined international sounds with dancehall roots in a way that expanded the genre and gave it a home overseas. A genre that was initially explicitly for those of Caribbean origin found a fanbase in waters of countries that couldn't even understand us when we spoke because of Beenie Man. He, along with others of course like Shaggy, literally paved the way for those after them to even be able to have international success, and they made dancehall something that could be considered mainstream. However, as much as he influenced the sound of music and also made it more popular back then, when it comes to sheer influence, there is just nobody who even comes close to Vybz Kartel. I mean, listen, this man not only influenced the sound of music itself just like Beenie Man, but he changed the culture itself, Jamaican culture, outside of the music in many different ways. Kartel is practically responsible for why an entire population of young Jamaicans started literally bleaching. He literally taught them the formula and made cake soap sales go through the roof. When you walk into a Jamaican high school and you look on the feet of 85% of the boys, you are going to see wallaby, bank robber, desert, suede, no suede, all of that. And we know who is responsible. Did you know that Vybz Kartel is actually the reason why it's socially acceptable for your girlfriend to suck your at nighttime? Most of us would be too young to remember, but there was actually a time where the concept of suckud used to be illegal in Jamaica, almost like how the concept of eating buff is illegal in Jamaica. And any girl who did do it back then, they get bun out instantly. Even Kartel used to bun it out, but he said that as much as he did used to bun it out, one day a girl suck off him out for the first time, and that changed his entire perspective.
Yeah. Alright, I'm used to the song when I say, don't suck my wood, right?
Yeah.
You see, first time a girl suck my wood,
New song.
Shortly after, he made the song Freaky Girl, and the rest is history. Now, you can't listen to a single dancehall song without hearing about a penis in somebody's daughter's mouth. Did Beenie Man do that? Did Beenie Man have parents blaming the destruction of society and culture on him? Did Beenie Man practically birth and raise all of the artists that would go on to take over the generation after him? Like Popcorn, Tommy Lee, Ja Vinci, and of course Alkaline? I mean, maybe you could say Bounty did that because he birthed Kartel and Movado, but even he is not trying to call himself the king of dancehall. Do you think a young Massacre looked up at Beenie Man and said, hey, I wanna be like that guy? No, a Vybz Kartel. Kartel literally, over the 20 plus years he's been active, came into dancehall, took whatever Beenie Man made it and changed it into something else. Then he did it again and again and again, and then made new artists famous, and then they did it again and again and again, carrying on his legacy, and his influence still continues to live on, while Beenie Man is stuck on a social media profile begging people to acknowledge his status in the game and taking desperate attempts to fire a shot at a man who has nothing to gain from responding. Who is the king of dancehall? Well, let me just put it this way. I could have just avoided making this entire video and summed it up in a few words. The king of dancehall is who the people in the dancehall want to be the king. And no disrespect to Beenie Man, but as you can clearly see by the reception to this conversation, they do not want him as their king. Once again, let us not forget that Beenie Man was at one point the king of dancehall and deserves his respect for that. He really did make indispensable contributions to the genre. However, sometimes it's best to just be humble and let somebody else have the win. Because really, the OG king of dancehall is Yellow Man, and I don't hear Yellow Man telling Beenie to stop calling himself the king, because at the end of the day, he just accepted that his time had simply passed. It's not like you can take any of this into the afterlife with you anyway, so it really is never that serious. And at some point, there will come a day where a new artist will rise to the top, and Kartel will have to hand over his throne just the same. With all of that being said though, if you want to learn the full story of how Adidja Azim Palmer went from a random youth in the streets of Waterford to becoming the king of dancehall in place of Beenie Man, click the video on your screen right now. And as always, the dancehall has been decoded.
You see this present day dancehall music here, where we see I go on about the place, the trap music and the trapper them and all these things. It the thing. It really the thing, the whole society. And when a man tell you say the music now have nothing to do with nothing, it's foolish to see him attack. Because him was influenced by our next DJ, and our next DJ was influenced by the next DJ. So don't talk about say it's the parents them should not look after them. The parents them is looking after them picnic as far as them can do it. You is responsible for take it to the next level. You don't responsible for carry it, go way down in the pit. And I hear some big artists or some big dreadlocks, respectable Rastaman, I tell man, how come mothers become a bad word all of a sudden? Man used to talk that long time, you know, but it's the first time, if you tell a man that, you know, you hear them fight, no, it's a normal thing like Ras. You know, man, I say Ras. Mothers become bad word, Rasta. Your mother become a bad word. When a man tell me that it's a bad word, you tell him, you know. So how it reach a stage, How it reach a stage where a man just make video with man in a body bag and gonna run around the car and all them things there. And you to watch that and when I talk about say that have nothing to do with nothing. It's mad, no mad man. Because you can make little money here, so no money there, so money here, so. When you think say money is the power. Look here, man. You say today for you and tomorrow for me, it's straight going on. So you really depend on the IRS right now. And you can make some money and, you know, whole heap of girls and champagne and all them something there. But watch down the line. Because the same thing where your project out there going to turn back and bite you. Because when you're a little youth, we watch the YouTube and the this and the that. When them grow big and see them something and see them father, a project them something there, what you think him going to do? When them grow up in a system, in a community, where all them can hear and all them something there, and him start to and everybody a laugh when him say it. I see some video where they come 5 years old that say everybody a laugh like it's a joke thing. What are you dealing with? After Jamaica put the world on the map, I'm going to say Jamaica put the world on the map because the world was so such a stage where Jamaica come rise up that with the music and liberate a whole heap of people that them distress in our apartheid system, in our struggles, right across Europe and Africa. The music uplift the people them and carry the people them on a certain level. And now we see some little youth are going like them not have no sense. And you don't have sense, you know, you don't have sense. But see this little money vibes and this, that and girls vibes. Watch when you no grow tight when you go in though. A whole heap of ones, because I remember me tell her daughter, say, watch what happen, you know. And I say now, what, 30 years, 20 odd years after I say she turned Christian. And now against other ones now. After I don't tell her for a long time. But watch her now, you see the thing going out. You're sorry for Magadog and Magadog turn around and bite you. And right now, I tell you now, you don't mess up the thing. You don't carry the thing going right down in the abyss. You don't carry the thing on a level and nowhere. I tell you, it's dangerous. Dangerous.
We go a dance, go listen, and jump up when them here say, kill a Batman and all them up there. So now, we know, say, the promotion of homosexuals, make it reach this point, was done by the DJ them. Is it DJ them? Give the homosexuals big voice right now that them can come out so loud now to attack Jamaican people, you know. And why we say that now? But me could talk about something here. I want to talk about something here, Rasta. A couple of weeks ago we did that talk about how well everybody by now know that the sponsors, these companies who usually sponsors reggae show, come out and say them go and go boycott artists who profess violent lyrics, as them call it. Violent lyrics. Them claim say them go and go protest it. Them not going to put no money behind a reggae show that have no artists that chant no violent things in the society because violence is big in the society. We did come out and we did say, well, it's a hypocritical thing because, ironically, because them did have a man, the sister, the entertainment boss did have a man from Digicel who did that. And when he was asked the question, is it because of the pressure of the homosexual community in England why these sponsors decide to do this now? The man said, no, it's a coincidence. It's a coincidence. Well, we hear it from internal. We have some little people were internal that at that meeting, specific meeting, it was a toss-up about boycotting homosexual lyrics. And somebody in the meeting say, no, you can't come out and tell Jamaica, say, you're going to boycott homosexual lyrics. So them decide, so them are going to say, them are going to boycott violent lyrics. That is hypocritical because me don't know, say, is not violent lyrics them against, is homophobic lyrics according to them. Because violence in the music for a long time against the woman them, gun music, gun lyrics, and no sponsor never come out and say, them nah sponsor no show with violence in the music. Until some guy, some homosexual guy in England now come out now, you hear everybody a jump on it now and I say, well, yes, too much violence. Violence in the music, and we call pan For years now, we are called upon radio station, we are called upon artists, we said, stop the foolishness, stop the foolishness. We even talk about the whole heap of homophobic so-called lyrics were in the music, and we said, you not promote the people, them want to stop do it. The gun lyrics now work out, the abuse against the women them in the music. So the man them come out now hypocritically. I want to make mention that we didn't even mention Warrell King in the program, because we did say when Warrell King did have him band, when starting band name saying say him now back certain artists. I think him say him that one time when they supposed to back ladies him say him now back ladies whole heap of people say a foolishness that, this and that, a foolishness that. Alright? It go on and go on. We see now. Them come out now, so them getting violence lyrics. Well, it's lie them telling. Lie them telling. These people who come up, these sponsors, cause we, when we say we know, we are talking about cutting edge as no Mutabaruka. Cause it's only one man can take off his program off of the radio. And that is Mr. Young West Dog Dive Officer. So, and we are saying, watch out now. Those sponsors is hypocritical. And if a guy come tell you say, it's because him now come to, it's like a little bird come flying at me and say too much violence in our music. From 1980s, violence in our music, and none of them never said them go boycott it until now. And we there upon the radio attack every day. We all cuss all this radio station because this radio station are guilty and enough things. This radio station where we see we attack upon so now. It come like nobody not dead if you listen to certain music we are play upon the radio. The lyrics are certain music we are play upon the radio. Especially in the day. You know see, because we there at the night, so and we there play certain music when people go to bed, much less in the bright day. It's like people now listen to tune because every tune play upon radio now, you know, every tune. You have IRFM, we have played the madness, Zipper play the madness, Fame play the madness. I mean, you name it, them play the madness. Nobody now curtail, we are going. So it get out of hand. Alright. So now, these sponsors who never did listen to the radio all the while, because them don't know nothing about radio. All them know say boy, them can't make a money off a certain show. Them come now and them tell people say boy right now, them against violence in the lyrics, in the music. So them now put nothing. And me I declare say, them not against violence in the music. Them against the homophobic lyrics in the music. You know why we say so now? Because Sting, the greatest one-night show unheard according to them. Sting say, them going to make the artists them sign. Listen to where I go on now, you know. Them going to make the artists them sign say, them not going to promote no homophobic lyrics pan Sting. Watch a man. Homophobic lyrics pan Sting is not the problem, you know. You know what is the problem? The throwing of buckle. That is the problem. But every year you hear say no buckle now go enter in the place, no buckle now, and man throw a buckle same way. You know what is the problem? The problem is not the homophobic lyric. The problem is a man come up and say, man fi dead, gunshot in a marrow and this and that and kill man in a this and that and all them things. No, you hear the woman talk about AK, show the AK over the wall and all them things. You think a lie she tell? You have dance go so no, you know. AK-47 coming and lyrics no, you know, Rasta. Alright. Where the hypocrite them there? Where the hypocrite them the Rasta? Some little guys from England telling us that we have to stop homophobic lyrics. And now, Sting now, I got ban homophobic lyrics. So what I'm to all the other gun lyrics them? Oh no, me no hear nobody attack the gun lyrics that perpetuate itself amongst youth, young people who are listening to certain artists. They don't know nothing about Jimmy Cliff and Dennis Brown and all them artists. They don't know about Vybz Kartel and County Killer and all them man there. You know see? What happened to these lyrics? We incite violence. We don't talk about violence against specific people. We are talking about violence against Jamaican people. Me can't call him, you know, because I call all them, you know, because I'm a brethren, you know. And if a man can't take criticism and feel me, I fight against him. I feel bad luck that. Alright. The brethren name Anthony B. I talked to Anthony B one time and I say, Anthony B, why every time you go up on the stage, you have to talk about homosexual Rasta? You can't find, I mean, you hear you with some lyrics, Rasta. Can you remember when the first time Anthony B make a tune with band and me call Anthony B on Tony Rebel show and say, Anthony B, cut the music and say the poem, say the song without the lyrics. And when them did band that tune there, and me stuck here so I read the lyrics from the radio. All right. Anthony B. Me look for Anthony B. and me say Anthony B. Yeah, me say Anthony B. Why every time you go up on the stage, you can't say something else without I talk about homosexual rasta? Because sometimes when you say them things, the man start to look for you for the know that start to say, wait, I wonder if Muta about the man or today. All right. You know what he said to me? He said, boy, if him go up on the stage and not mention homosexual, him brethren them are going to say, him bow. What kind of talk that? Yeah. Yeah, that means him not take a stand, you know. I'm bridging them, he might try stand up so the boy right now, for him not say, him bridging them, I go feel that way. So, that lead me if it's sister now, say, a whole heap of artists really go up on the stage because him feel, say, him bridging. Insecurity. Insecurity. All right now. So we go now. So Sting now, come now and say, no, homophobic lyrics. What happened to the gun lyrics them? The violent lyrics them? What happened to the lyrics them? Where degrade the Jamaican black woman. A man can come and sting and say anything but don't say nothing against homosexuals. You don't understand talk? Yeah. And this is the talk now in Rasta. A man can come and sting and say anything but don't say nothing against homosexual. What kind of madness that Rasta? Me vex about it, you know. Me vex about it, Rasta, because you tell me now, say, an artist can't say nothing. Because I talking against homosexual don't mean say I'm homophobic, you know. I am not homophobic, you know, Rasta.
And that's the distinction where only for people
don't make him see if you got sex homosexual, you're homophobic.
You would want to kill them or something.
No, it's not so it go. You can't go tell. Watch your man, you can't tell a nation of people. Say, you know what? Talk about anything else, but don't talk about homosexual on a show, Rasta. No, that get kind of weird now. It get kind of weird, Rasta. You know why it get kind of weird? Here why it get kind of weird now. We're going to talk about Capleton now. All right. We have a newspaper here from England. Now, couple weeks ago, we mentioned an article where some homosexuals did a lick against Thatchell. And them said that them not really mind the lyrics them. Because as a matter of fact, them feel good. You remember? When them hear TOK tune, them say the Chichi tune with TOK do would be more accepted in a homosexual club than a heterosexual club. So them don't personally not really mind it. So them not really watch Thatchell. Alright, so you have a whole heap of homosexual out there, including Jamaica, we go a dance, go listen, and jump up when them hear say kill a Batman and all them something there. So now we know say the promotion of homosexuals, make it reach this point, was done by the DJ them. Is a DJ them. Give the homosexuals big voice right now that them can come out so loud now to attack Jamaican people, you know. And why we say that now? This article in the New Nation magazine, newspaper, the headline, thank you Thatchell. Big picture Capleton, anti-reggae protests is free PR, says Capleton. Alright. Psychologically, Capleton are used where the homosexual them use to justify say why them not really mind it. So Capleton now in the article say, well, him not really mind where they want to write now because it give no publicity. Alright. Which is not the Batman used to say that. They must say about him, no, they say. Yeah, they must say no, them no mind that these guys that say these things because look they know. Thatchell name become headline everywhere in the world now, you know, Rasta. Me see them mention Jamaica about homosexual thing from Jamaica, from CNN this morning, you know. Alright. Here the article say now. Controversial reggae star Capleton has expressed his gratitude to gay rights campaigners for giving him free media exposure. This is what the homosexuals were saying, that the DJs was giving them free media exposure. One hand is washing the other, no, you know. One hand is washing the other, no, alright. Speaking exclusively to New Nation last week, Capleton thanked Peter Thatchell. Now, Peter Thatchell is the head, is him start the whole furor about the thing. And the outrage campaign for providing him with free publicity to promote his latest album. He said, I want to thank Peter Tashel. This is quoting Capitan now. I want to thank Peter Tashel. No, this is not when I lick against Capitan, because you know, you have some idiot boy out there now. When they attack this deal, you're muted. When I attack him, we just say that we're good for the goose, good for the gander. And that same like, we did show them say, them are promote homosexuals. It's so now we see the homosexuals and promote them. You understand? So a man must check out the ideas, the psychology behind the thing, you know. All right. He said, quote, I want to thank Peter Tashel. I'm grateful to him and his organization for all their publicity. I've been in the business for 13 years and I've never had so much attention from the press. No, this is what Peter Tashel is saying in England, you know. Yeah. See, a long time he was homosexual and he never get so much promotion until now, you know, Rasta. You know, see it? All right. News agency, this is continuing now with Capital said. News agencies from all over the world want to speak to me. CNN, NBC, and some of the biggest newspapers in America. I've never had so much publicity before, even when I was in the Billboard charts. Brethren.
Like a marriage.
Yeah, brethren. No. We give thanks for certain things in Rasta, but you see things that come up to bump, you see things come up to bump, you know, Rasta. It come up to bump, you know. This is the bump, you know, it's like festa, you know, and it want a nigga to push like make the bump go down, you know.
It reached that point where they just have to go to cut out the lyrics there, you know.
They know since where happen, man. They know since where happen. You know since where happen, brethren. Me I say. But we no business with them, Rasta. Me no business with them, because if a man bring it to me, you know, me know me, I go do him, you know, Rasta. Police, thief, or nobody, you know, me no business, you know, Rasta. If a man ever bring that to me, you know, I mean, me no believe in a killing, you know, Rasta. But if a man ever bring that to me, no, me, Baz, watch a man. Me not business with where a man want to do road there, so. But you see, come in my little space, you know. You see, you're in my space, you know. Me and you in a problem. You understand? I mean, I go preach a man to kill you. Me not go do it. But me know why you come in my space. Yes. And you can't tell me no, say. If me see something over there, so. If me see a prostitute over there, so. Me can't say where right now. Prostitution, yeah, prostitution not really something where you should really deal with. I mean, I understand prostitution, but me not see. They just tell me, say, me can't talk. From me go mention party business now, me can't say nothing about it, Rasta. Eh? What kind of thing this? Where them I put with that, Rasta? Eh? Where them I put with that? Them stop Sizzler from going through the airport, I glad that, Rasta. What is this? All right, now. So keep it on now, I said. Never in a film history of performance, him get so much publicity, and he sees who are giving the publicity now. The homosexuals, them are giving the start out the publicity for him. And him did publicize them in the beginning, and now them start to publicize him. You know what I'm saying? It's a serious alliance, so, alright. Capitan believes the controversy surrounding reggae artists and their homophobic lyrics has been blown out of proportion. Alright, Capitan gives time. Alright, next page. He said last week, the problem is that it is impossible to translate Jamaican patois into standard English. In Jamaica, an entertainer will perform at a show, and when he comes out the stage, if his performance was good, he might say, I murdered the crowd. It doesn't mean he literally killed his audience, likewise. A taxi driver who has just dropped off a customer might say, I've just shot a customer. But he doesn't mean it literally. That's just how he talks. Alright, Capitan might not mean literal because he says metaphorical in attack. Well, obviously fire is metaphorical in most language because the Bible says, John say, I baptize you in water, but there's one coming who I will baptize in the Holy Spirit and with fire. It now means that John the Baptist is going to put Jesus in a fire. You know, see, there's a metaphorical language. So Capitan is understanding this metaphorical language, you know. But I don't believe, say, if a man say, gunshot, either boom bye, either Batman head, if he talk metaphorically. I don't believe that. I don't believe with a man that say, inform if he dead. He might tell you, say, boy, right now, if you see something wrong, go on, you know to tell no authority to rectify it because you're dead. I know things in metaphorical language that you know, Rasta. All right.
The youth them, not take it metaphorical.
No, definitely not. Yeah, all right. So we understand the metaphorical language that is used when it's a fire, because we come here fire. I know Rasta start the fire thing. At church people, we hear church people that sing about fire and brimstone and God go burn you up in the bottomless pit and all these things and hell and damnation and all them things there. So the fire did it a long time, you know. All right. So all we do now is put it on record and popularize it, and it come like say no, we are the cruel persons. You know, see it. Anytime we talk about fire, them things say, so this way I are. Yeah, them hear it on radio. All right. So keep it on now. Comments follow a week of controversial debate surrounding reggae artists and their lyrics. Last week, a UK tour by another controversial reggae icon, Sizzla Kalonji, was cancelled after newspaper reports linked reggae music with the death of David Marley, a gear barman in London who was beaten to death following a spate of robberies. You know what them are doing now? I can tell you what them are doing. This is serious thing going on, you know. They are spreading propaganda in England that we are killing homosexuals. In Jamaica, we're running them down and killing them. Yeah. And the homosexuals who leave Jamaica and go to England is saying that is true. Mm-hmm. That is what is happening, you know. That is why it come on CNN this morning, you know. Yes, it's lie. It's lie. Nobody now identify no homosexuals who go beat them Rasta. We say watch out, man. We have to say it once and we have to say it twice. Most homosexuals that dead is them boy kill them.
And most man in Jamaica know a homosexual.
Yes. Them now run him down. All right. Marley Aguirre. 6 youths, 2 white boys, 2 white girls, and 2 black boys have been arrested over Marley's killing. Home Secretary David Blunkett officially banned Sizzla, real name Miguel Collins, from Britain last Thursday. Police slammed the media reports that linking reggae music to Marley's murder. A Met spokesman told New Nation the inquiries we have conducted since complaints were made regarding certain lyrics and the seeking of advice from the CPS with regard to them is a wholly separate matter to the recent murder inquiry on the South Bank. The 2 matters are unconnected and concern officers from completely different departments. Reggae producer Blacker Dread of Black Music Council was surprised by the cancellation of the Sizzla tour. He told New Nation last week, I was amazed when I read the reports in the national press associating the killing of a gay man with reggae music. There's no link between reggae and the killing of David Marley. I think it's disgusting that the reggae death, the tragic death of a human being, regardless of whether he is gay or not, should be used as a weapon against reggae music. Gay rights activists claim the popularity of 8 reggae artists, Capitan, Sizzla, Bushman, and Tisdoeda, in the 8 TOK, Vybz Kartel, and Elephant Man is responsible for 10% rise in homophobic assaults over the past year, although they are yet to come up with any proof to back their assertion. What you say? We have weapons of mass destruction. we have weapons of homo destruction. It's a serious thing, you know. It's a serious thing. But all right, the point when we really are trying to make is this, no, because we have come down where it started. We just started for me. It started, yeah. Because we have bring the thing to the nitty gritty. What we talk like here? We soon take advertisement. But watch out now. The point is this: that we have been speaking continuously that these artists is promoting the homosexuals. We keep saying it over and over. And if we keep promoting the homosexuals, them going to become like what we make them become here now. Now, the homosexual is so big now that they are giving our artists the biggest promotions them ever get in them career. You know, see it?
True for them issue.
Yeah. So it's a thing that we have to really check. Do you really want
the level of power where them have and the reach where them have?
Do you really want to say that you give thanks for the homosexuals for big job? I mean, you know, because the homosexuals them feel good for no say them a get big up. You know, see it? It's a thing. So we have to really check it. Now, in the 80s, you know, when Shabba Ranks come out and talk, it was gun lyrics and it was who about.
It's like you would have said then, oh,
I know, get big, you know. Ladies are big artists, you know. Same thing Shadow, you know, them banner from down the south. Yeah. See, all right now. In the 80s, though, you know, in the 80s, Shabba Ranks did come as one of them what you call obscene artists. We get big. Yeah. Like ladies are now, we get big, you know. Ladies are big artists, though, you know. Same thing Shadow, you know, them banner from down the south. Yeah. Down a Montego Bay, you know. Yeah. But she no business. She just go and do what she do and now she get big. So look at what you saw here, everybody has said, boy, if she have a number one tune on Billboard, you know, like that. Like that day we had talk about Hillel, you know. The first thing them say about Hillel, you know, them say, them will tell you about the whole of Hillel, Israel Hillel, they hear them now. Sean Paul, who has gained international recognition, was a past student of Hillel. You think them would have said that? No. You think them would have said that if him never said millions out there? Them nah say that, you know. Because for them Sean Paul lyrics is not much to be desired. Dirty Cup crew and all them today. Them nah go say that. But it's true now internationally. Him can give 5 million to poor relief and all them something there. Him get big. So the same thing in Shabba Ranks now. Shabba Ranks come with the nastiest lyrics them. And everybody love Shabba Ranks. Alright now. Shabba Ranks have a tune named Dembow. I used when that tune get big, every man starts singing who are eat on a table. Who, for those of you who don't know what eat on a table is for foreigner, it's called oral sex. Right? Oral sex in Jamaica is called eat on a table. I don't know why the man become a table, but I don't know why the man, I don't know if he eat part up on the table. He eat on a 2-foot table, but in the 80s it was a big thing, you know. It was a big thing. Yeah. Every artist come on stage and I said, all who knows them no bow put up them on. And all who knows them no this put up that. And watch a man. No, it's still going. In the 2000s, we are going to show you an article where we book up in the newspaper. It's a serious thing. The article said, from them bow to take. Yeah. All right. Part of the article said, it was not so long ago that practitioners of oral sex were the target of DJ's wrath, with death advocated as the punishment for those who went below the 2-foot table. The man used to come on stage and dead to end, just like what the matter what women say, the dead to any man where suck woman and this and that, you know. Alright. These days, there is a much more relaxed stance, at least, on receiving the once taboo act. Given it. Nobody has pushed that so far. Shabba Ranks had the classic anti-oral sex song in Dembow, coming out in the early 1990s. Dembow took no prisoners, as it said. That was serious stuff indeed. However, just over 10 years later, I can turn on my television and see Vybz Kartel in full flight on RETV chanting out the lyrics to take. And when he hits the part about the doorknob, he allows the screaming woman at the front to alaba that I go cause you a blow job. That means you can't say that on stage, no, you know. 10 years ago, if you say that on stage, you know, man, stab you in your neck, you know. Yeah, they are not old, they are not hiding. They look most enthusiastic, as they are certainly not ashamed. This is a hell of a turnaround, considering that in the mid-1990s, Lady Saw said on the Joyride rhythm, it was under the sycamore tree. A boy want me fi bow and me tell him fi flee. Looking back, the closest I can identify as a turning point in the male attitude to receiving oral sex, at least on record, was when Baby Sham questioned which girl and which girl say she nah duck right, you know, at that run the cut. Me
which girl and which girl say she nah
which girl and which girl say them nah, yeah.
Run the cut.
Yeah. Me hear them turn over when me girl a clean when she get the style I was. It's a serious thing. He got a little flack from 1 and 2 DJs, but there was no huge furor. In the new millennium, Cecile comes with a song and video about the woman's joy at receiving oral sex, urging the men to do it to me, baby. Back then, it was hard to imagine a time when receiving oral sex would be so openly discussed on record. But the future is here, however, given it is still very much taboo, as Kartel and Beenie Man remind all that the speed limit for sex is 68. For other that comes 69.
Yeah. And recently too, Missy Elliott did have a song where get very popular in Jamaica and now still popular about lick it. Lick it and you know.
Remember what the tune Get High?
Yeah.
Get High?
Yeah.
It couldn't play for radio either. But I want to tell you now, this is serious because watch you now. Oral sex is taboo in Jamaica. And it was made. You see, we are talking about the popularity of people promote things, you know. People see them a fight against things. People see them a fight against something, but them really have, alright. So the DJ them come and them talk about oral sex and man for dead and man for this, man. Just like what them talk about homosexuality. Now, if you talk about that, it no make no woman what did I look at in a funny way?
In other words, then what you say is that just like how oral sex come now, be like almost
anything. Little more the bottom man, them going to come like anything. Does so. So when you talk about it now, it will come like nothing. You know, see? Which is that's what I lead to now.
Become acceptable to.
Is that will come to
even some people who it never did acceptable to before.
So you see the psychology of the thing though. You see the psychology of the thing though, because you can fight against something by living your culture. The greatest revolution, you know, is to live your culture, you know. Because everything told me when you live
fight against the homosexual, them just sing song to love up your woman.
Simple. Sing song for stop.
Love my woman.
It's a serious thing when we think on it, because look at now, you talk about oral sex to some woman or a man. Man love take it than give it, you know. Him not say nothing with taking it, you know, but him say something with giving it. You know see? But now when man talk about it, it's like I know nothing again, you know.
And most women say they want to get it, and most men say they not.
So who I get? That thing. This is the